A U.S. cloud software company, Business Efficiency Solutions, is suing Chinese telecommunications company Huawei. According to the lawsuit, BES alleges that Huawei stole trade secrets from them and installed a backdoor from China into Pakistan that allowed them to, quote, collect and view data important to Pakistan's national security and other private personal data on Pakistani citizens. So, Kim, Huawei has been accused of this around the globe. I think the UK kind of stripped a bunch of its software out of its systems in order to prevent this type of backdoor espionage. Were you surprised at all by this report?
No, I mean, I feel like we've been seeing a lot of reports similar to this, and in particularly with Huawei, you know, of them kind of spying or stealing. And so I don't think this is really surprising at all. But I would personally, I mean, I would like to really look more into this before making any real assumptions. I know that it's easy to kind of jump on these things and say, oh, well, obviously the Chinese are a bunch of spies and thieves, and so we've got to go after them. But I would like to dig into this a little deeper to get more information to find out if there's really something very suspect here. But, you know, Alyssa, what do you think?
So this is something the U.S. government has warned about for ages with Huawei. I remember back in the Trump administration at the Munich Security Conference, then Secretary of Defense Mark Esper was encouraging NATO allies to not allow Huawei in their 5G systems because it could exploit any of their vulnerable security systems, that we wouldn't be able to share intelligence through them if they allowed Huawei. And so it's something we know that the Chinese government does. I don't want to make assumptions without more information, but there's kind of two things that are a bit par for the course with the CCP, which is A, stealing intellectual property from others, and B, surveilling its allies and adversaries alike. So this sounds not unexpected by any means.
Right, and it's rather easy to believe. I mean, here in the United States, you know, the U.S. government has worked hard to create backdoors into Yahoo and other big tech firms so that they can expand their own surveillance program. So the idea that China wouldn't be doing this is just a strange one. And there has been reporting that one of the key goals of Huawei has been to implant this technology around the world to expand their espionage capacity. And like Alyssa says, it serves this dual purpose. It's not just espionage. It's also corporate espionage. It's the effort to kind of pick up the trade secrets of multinational companies to then feed into their own development sectors, which has been pretty effective for them so far, right? No, right, Kim?
Yeah, I mean, and you're right, Ryan. Anything that we kind of accuse other countries of doing, we probably have also done on our own. It's almost a little bit of a projection of sorts, right? But what makes China so interesting and more suspect is that they have essentially control over every business that's inside of China. So unlike the United States, where we have some separation, China doesn't really have that. And even though their private companies are supposed to operate somewhat privately, we know that that's not actually the case. So if a tech company is taking proprietary information from another tech company, then you can kind of think, well, maybe it's the Chinese government that is directing them, or, and so that's where it becomes a bit more suspicious and sinister, I think, on the world stage.
Well, and what's always interesting about the Chinese is they're playing a 100-year game, where we in the U.S. are playing a 2, 3, 5-year game. So even this note that part of the efforts here is not just the corporate espionage, but getting intelligence on Pakistani citizens, they're always trying to do this. They want to have databases on not just their own citizens, which they certainly have. Kim, you talk about this in your radar today. But they also want to have information on as many global citizens as they can to be able to exploit for many different reasons. So there's kind of that's a multifaceted angle of what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, this has been a long running and pretty successful so far project, though it's unclear, exactly what purpose they're going to put it toward in the future. Like collecting information on U.S. citizens or Pakistani citizens is interesting, but like you said, if you're thinking that far into the future, might as well have the database.
Yeah, it would be nice to know what is their plan, for the future, kind of getting a peek into their playbook a little bit, because they do plan so far in advance that they are playing a game of chess. And so it's hard to know what is going to be their next 10 moves. We might be able to predict their next move, but not the move after that or the move after that.
And we'll have to leave it there, and we'll have more rising for you right after this.